Hello, everybody, and welcome to every quarterback in the NFL is in their prime, or however you want to phrase it. That's the main gist of it. So guys like Russell Wilson are back up to a 97 overall. I think he's an improviser. I did all these ratings myself. I went back, I looked at all these guys' history in like some Madden database and looked at like their highest Madden rating they've had, and that just shot guys like Matthew Stafford. Deshaun Watson was a 90 overall at some point, and now he's like a 77. It puts guys like Dak, I think he was at like about an 86 or something. Now he's at 89. Like, there's just some massive changes. Derek Carr, 80. Dalton was at 87 at some point too, so he's back. And like Trey Lance is at like a 68 in the game, but he originally came out with a 74, so maybe he's usable after he hits free agency or a few guys retire. We'll keep guys like that under the radar, or I guess someone to watch. Marcus Mariota is up to an 80. There's just a few backups I ended up tweaking, and Tyrod Taylor was an 82 at some point, but at 34, I don't know how usable he is. I don't even know if he'll start for the Giants. I even boosted Zach Wilson up to his highest rating. I think it was the first year when he was drafted. I think he was up to a 75 overall at some point, so that is going to be his rating. Very usable quarterback for the future, especially if he hits free agency. But even a guy like Mac Jones, who's down to like a 73 in the game, with a little boost like this, he could easily be the franchise quarterback for the Patriots, so we'll see how the whole situation pans out. Jameis Winston is up to an 82 overall. I don't know what his real deal is or how he's going to pan out either, but there's just some fun stuff to do, and I could just, you know, elevate Drew Lock or whatever. I don't want to though, and guys like Mr. Trubisky was a 77 at some point. It's already hard to believe that he's a 29-year-old player. I remember when he got drafted, it was a bizarre kind of draft story going on around the league. So I don't know what we'll do exactly. I think that we'll just like stimulate year by year, see how these guys work out, see how the league kind of is with these guys back in their prime. But it's definitely an interesting concept that I can't wait to dive into. We'll head to the midseason here of the 2023 season, which we are currently at in real life. We're in week 9, I think maybe 10 at this point. Weeks are going by, time is flying. I'm Kirk Cousins, and the Minnesota Vikings are 1-6 to start off this tenure with you know, Kirk Cousins under center. Obviously Kirk Cousins under center in a terms of like he's in his prime. We'll look around the NFL, he's actually leading the league in passing yards. Sam Howell is just a yard behind him, and Patrick Mahomes obviously, and then Dak Prescott with the overall lift is up to doing pretty good stuff. Nothing crazy from anybody else other than Russell Wilson, who has been revamped, and now he might just be worth the the trade compensation that the Broncos gave up for him. Jimmy Garoppolo at this point in time isn't as good, but he's back up to like an 82 overall. He's throwing the ball very well, very well thought out player, has only 2 interceptions and 9 touchdowns. Jared Goff is actually at an all-time high. I think he tied at 84 like when he originally came out. I think his highest rating is 84. He did it twice. Derek Carr, who's, you know, pushing huge numbers now with the high overall, is pushing, you know, pretty good, and 0 interceptions is really good. New 99 overall Aaron Rodgers, 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, and Kenny Pickett is starting over Mitchell Trubisky. Ryan Tannehill, huge overall boost for him. Baker even got a little bit of a facelift as well. 84 overall. I think he's like a 76 now. Matthew Stafford's actually playing pretty poorly, despite given the opportunity to be a 91 overall. He has not really done well. Leading the league in touchdowns is Sam Howell, yet inconsistencies are showing with 10 interceptions. He actually ties for the lead in interceptions. Kyler Murray is up here as well. Jordan Love, you hate to see that. I'm a Packers fan, so I really hate to see that. Matt Stafford. So some guys in terms of just overall performance haven't really gotten better as like their overall might have, but their game playing isn't that great in simulation. The Jordan Love led Green Bay Packers and the Tampa Bay Baker Mayfield led Buccaneers, weird way to phrase that, they actually both make the playoffs. But let's go down to the NFL, not just the AFC, and see what's popping. Dak Prescott gets like a 1 overall boost. He was like very slightly upgraded, but he's performing well. We do know Cowboys playbooks are insane. Ooh, that's a good video idea. Put everyone on Cowboys playbooks. That'd be pretty fun. But you have guys like Patrick Mahomes who are consistently up here, but Kirk Cousins is up to 4,400 yards. Kind of go down the board, nothing really different. Mac Jones though, okay, not bad numbers from him. Russell Wilson Wilson, very good season for him. 71% completion percentage, only 8 interceptions to 33 touchdowns and nearing up on that 4,000 yard mark. Very impressive. Derek Carr at this point, very thought out player, very conservative. Aaron Rodgers, 99 overall, not quite the efficient guy that we used to see from him, who barely threw for over 4 interceptions in a season. He was always really good at keeping the ball to his team and his teammates only. Brock Purdy, we go down the board. Jimmy Garoppolo, 3,500, and Kenny Pickett starting over Mr. Trubisky, obviously. But we can keep going down, and you see guys that are still underperforming, like Matt Stafford. Tannehill had a pretty good season, all things considered, and that team and that playbook really runs through Derrick Henry and the run game. Baker Mayfield was good enough to make that the playoffs, and CJ Stroud, obviously we know he's doing well. Geno Smith did get a 1 overall boost, by the way, too. I think when he was first drafted, very highly anticipated to be good, so he's like a 77 in the game, but back in like Madden 15 he was like a 78, so didn't really get a boost, but did get some sort of boost. I thought that was kind of surprising. Deshaun Watson, 3,100 yards, 25 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Andy Dalton did end up leading the Panthers, so that's interesting. He was not bad, very conservative, but not bad. Tyrod Taylor also starting, and this is quite an alternative reality. Justin Fields still is ass. All the expected runners to do good are pretty much just all still doing good. Touchdowns, 21 for Josh Jacobs and 20 for Pacheco. Quite interesting numbers. You can look at some of the, that's not the, I was gonna look for just pure runners, but I guess they don't really lead that. Receivers though, who really elevated the play of their receivers? Keenan Allen, no. Michael Gallup, sure, like that's not an expected one by me at all. Cooper Kupp with the new look, 91 overall. Matt Stafford did pretty good. Chris Olave benefited from Derek Carr. Rashee Rice just always going to perform well in simulation, and we can kind of look down the board and find some guys that really stand out. Juju, not really, or I call him Boo Boo. Jerry Jeudy looks like he benefited quite well from an upgraded Russell Wilson, and you can kind of go down the board and find some, but not a whole lot. Actually, it's not as much as I expected. Devontae Adams playing with Jimmy Garoppolo though, just at 1,000, just barely got there. So prime Tannehill and the Titans get the 7th seed. 99 overall Aaron Rodgers with the Jets gets the 3 seed in the AFC. And then the matchup you actually see under me is Jags Broncos. Broncos are in that 5th seed with the 97 or so overall Russell Wilson. He was very good back in the day, as many people, they don't really forget. You just don't really think about those times right now or anymore as much as we did when he actually got traded. But we're looking at Matt Stafford making the playoffs. Guys like we already mentioned Baker Mayfield, and then Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, obviously because of their overpowered playbooks, are gonna make it. Tannehill leads the Titans past the Baltimore Ravens, and then obviously this matchup right here, the Bills, you end up winning. They'll go against the Jags. Russell Wilson and the Broncos are knocked out of the playoff conversation at this point, and so the only revamped quarterbacks that are really back right now, Baker Mayfield, Ryan Tannehill, and then a slight upgrade to Dak Prescott, I guess. Two very different stories on both conferences. The 6th and 7th seed made it. The bottom 2 seeds make it to the conference championship for the AFC side, and then the 1 and 2, the powerhouses of the NFC, both make it to the conference championship. And it's just Tannehill now that is severely revamped, as Dak Prescott, as I keep mentioning, just was a slight upgrade. And oh my goodness, the number 7 seed beats the Bills, the Titans, with Ryan Tannehill end up making the Super Bowl. Your MVP is Dak Prescott. Who cares? Get out of here. We'll look into Ryan Tannehill's performances here in the playoffs. We'll go to the Titans, and it was Tannehill throwing for a touchdown and 131 yards. Not actually a whole lot to tell. Goes 13 of 23. Wasn't actually a great performance. And here it is. Ryan Tannehill, near perfect passer rating, 211 yards on just 15 of 17 passing. Is sacked twice. He had a long pass of 38, but 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions against the Chargers. He out quarterbacks Justin Herbert. That's a significant upgrade with a prime Tannehill and Derrick Henry. I think we forget how good they were in real life, and it's translating in the game. Tannehill barely even has to complete the ball for them to win, as he goes 16 of 26, 154, still had 3 touchdowns. Out quarterbacked Josh Allen, in my opinion here. Not just the quarterback rating, you kind of just look at the completion percentage and just efficiency wise, but I'm sure that Josh Allen does not have a Derrick Henry. Advancing through the Super Bowl week, it is the San Francisco 49ers coming out on top. It is Brock Purdy that is going to win Super Bowl MVP and the Super Bowl. Close and good run for Ryan Tannehill and the Titans. But your yearly awards, Dak Prescott for your MVP, Mike McCarthy Coach of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year goes to quarterback Josh Allen, 2 quarterback awards, MVP and OPOY. Interesting. Aaron Donald, your consistent defensive player of the year. The league just favors him at this point. Bijan Robinson and Byron Young top the rookies in Rookies of the Year awards. Now here it is. Here are the free agency frenzy, if you will. Jameis Winston is headed to the Raiders at an 82 overall. That will probably top the current quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. Kirk Cousins is headed to the Titans. Good for him. Ryan Tannehill remains unsigned at the end of free agency. Marcus Mariota is headed to the Vikings, probably going to start there. Tyrod Taylor, Sam Darnold, Huntley, all these guys just going to go unsigned, I guess. But good for the quarterbacks in this little make-believe world where, okay, I don't know why the Jets would sign both Ian Book and Trace McSorley. Interesting. But Baker Mayfield to be a Commander. I don't know if he's the franchise guy, but might have to be. Up to an 84 overall, 29 years old. They just didn't like how much Sam Howell turned over the ball, perhaps. And Jameis Winston to go play for the Raiders for maybe a 3 years. Oh, wow. And then Kirk Cousins a 1-year deal. Marcus Mariota's a 3-year deal back in his prime, where he was an 80 overall. He was definitely a dual threat. He's had the legs in the past, and we gave it back to him. All right, we gave him his superpowers of mobility back, and he's with the Vikings for the next 3 years. Now, at this point, I'm sure people have actually ended up retiring and or regressing to a significant point or area, I guess. Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, all these guys at the top are very good, and Russell Wilson remains. Aaron Rodgers down 5 overalls or so. He's no longer a 99 overall, but he is also 40. So maybe this year he retires, but we'll have to see. Maybe he sticks around. This is his 20th year in the league. And we can go down the board. Deshaun Watson not really progressing. Matt Stafford hit some major regression. Kyler Murray could still develop. Baker Mayfield at 29. Derek Carr's an 85 overall. Andy Dalton still kicking it at 82. Or not 82 years old, 82 overall at 36. Jameis Winston a little bit more of a suitable situation at 30, 82 overall. Kirk Cousins, Mac Jones obviously still on the upside part of this at 25 years old. Tyrod Taylor's a Dolphin. He just got signed. Ryan Tannehill is a Falcon. I love that fit. We can go look around the league and see if there's any surprising signings. Well, Taylor Heineke's the starter for the Buccaneers. I don't know how that's really going to fare for them, but we'll see. Trey Lance remains a Cowboy. We'll see if he either gets traded or once he hits free agency, we'll have to keep track of where he goes. Very good backup room for the Dolphins, I guess. Sam Darnold and Tyrod Taylor are there. After the departure of Tyrod Taylor, they draft John McAllister. The Giants really just don't believe in the quarterback they paid $40 million a year to. Classic Giants. Sam Howell is the new Seattle Seahawks starter over an old Geno Smith at this point, who played quite well last year. We'll see if Mitchell Trubisky takes the start for the Steelers this year. I don't know how likely that is. I don't really know how that would really pan out in simulation either, especially when I don't have control of the team. And yeah, there's no really other great surprises. So that's a whole lot of fun things in just one offseason. We'll have to keep tabs on it as we go to the midseason. Who's the Minnesota Vikings quarterback? Is it Marcus Mariota? Well, he's working out really well at 5-1. The Vikings just 1 loss on their record to this point in time. Very impressive, especially under new management at quarterback with Marcus Mariota there. But Josh Allen leads the league and Derek Carr is right up there. He's doing good since he's gotten an upgrade, maybe throwing a little bit more interceptions than last year. Really saw him minimize that sort of thing. But look at Marcus Mariota, 1,600 yards, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. What a resurgence at just 30 years old. Marcus Mariota could be the quarterback. I think he's signed on for the next 3 years anyways. Mariota gets a better dev trait. Things can lead to great. He could go to the Super Bowl pretty easily with the Vikings here with his tenure with them. And then you're going to go down the board. Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, coming back, and he's looking good. Aaron Rodgers, all right, that's fine. Kirk Cousins in the new situation, maybe taking over a passing scheme. This is more yards than Ryan Tannehill had. Baker showing up and showing out for the Washington Commanders. 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, closing up on that 1,500-yard mark. Stafford slowly dwindling away. Not a whole lot to talk about with him. He's kind of been disappointing. But Mitchell Trubisky, 4 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, but only 4 touchdowns in a half a season. Not a great start for Mitchell Trubisky. And Ryan Tannehill down here in a run-heavy Offense, I think they did a good job getting someone that has some speed, maybe a dual threat to this point. Maybe you don't label him as that, but someone that's definitely capable with his legs. We're seeing a whole new Jameis here as a Raiders quarterback. He is 9 touchdowns to only 1 interception, more conservative than we've ever seen him. Taylor Heineke, all things considered, not doing awful, and Brock Purdy's all the way down here. Kind of look through these guys, and it doesn't look real impressive, and some guys still in between quarterbacks with Sam Howell and Geno Smith, both for the Seahawks, and then Matt Corral and Taylor Heineke maybe dealing some things out there with the good old Buccaneers. I don't know what's really going on in some of these teams. Chris Olave's exploded out of the gate here. Oh my lord, Derek Carr has benefited crazy, or I guess Chris Olave has benefited Chris Olave like crazy. 700 yards. Josh Reynolds is the guy in New York with the rookie quarterback. Interesting. Kind of look down the line here and realize that there's not a whole lot going on. Devin Duvernay is a guy that definitely surprises. Off to the playoffs, aka the end of the season, we go. We'll see what the numbers look like about then. Dak Prescott once again leads the league. That's annoying. Aaron Rodgers, though, once he regresses, he actually gets better. that's really interesting. Aaron Rodgers doing a great job. Looking for new quarterbacks, though, it's Marcus Mariota, man. This is a season and a half for him. 4,100 yards, 30 touchdowns, only 12 interceptions, and someone that was disappointing me makes me so happy. Matthew Stafford at 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, to only 10 interceptions. What a step up from him. Kirk Cousins still throwing the ball very well with a run-driven team. Derek Carr kind of takes a step back, throws a lot of interceptions. Andy Dalton was very, very good, actually, looking at that season. Trevor Lawrence gunslinging that thing. Luke Bradley, that is the Seahawks starter now. That's interesting. A San Diego State quarterback. That's fun. Kyler Murray getting his upgrade. He hasn't really been talked about much. He's up to an 88 overall with morale, 86 now. He's at like a 77 or 79 in terms of Madden 24. He got boosted up to about an 84 or 85 if I remember correctly, and he's showing what he can do and what he's capable of. Baker Mayfield taking the reins over there in Washington, doing a great job with them. 3,500 yards, 34 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Ryan Tannehill, a memorable season for him as well, as he's probably hitting regression about now. Jameis finishes the season with 269 completions to almost 400 passing attempts, 22 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions. Like I said, it's a new look Jameis, baby. Brock Purdy was fine. Nothing really to write home about, and there's a few guys that were a little offsetting, but we can also see, I think there's Mitchell Trubisky somewhere down here, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That's not even 1 touchdown a game. The playoff picture this year has the Raiders winning the Super Bowl over the Lions. Who is the Raiders quarterback again? Who is it? Jameis Winston. That's right. Wow. Jameis Winston leading the Raiders to a Super Bowl win. Raiders were incredibly good under Jameis Winston. They were the 1 seed headed in. That was a game against the Chiefs where he won 24 to 21, and then another 20+ point game for the Raiders puts them in the Super Bowl, where they score 28 and double the Lions score in the Super Bowl win against a slight, I don't even think there was an upgrade for Jared Goff. I think he's as good as he's ever been. And kind of go look at Matt Stafford, who was the Rams quarterback with the upgrade to a 91 overall last year. I think he's down to about an 85, 86 overall nowadays in this little simulation here. So I don't know. Nice to see the Cowboys lose, though. I'll tell you that. Jameis Winston might have led them quotes. It wasn't probably all him. Josh Jacobs is great in simulation. Josh McDaniels is coach of the year. That's very, very pathetic. Lamar Jackson's your MVP, though. Cooper Kupp, old Booper Bup at OPOY, offensive player of the year. Max Crosby, defensive player of the year. Definitely helped the Raiders in the Super Bowl run. We'll head into another free agency period where we might see some of the young guys that I upgraded, like Trey Lance and Zach Wilson, where they might get dealt to other teams, where their contract might expire, and where guys might retire. We don't know. Okay, that's fun. I opened up free agency recap. I know we're here for the quarterbacks, but Nick Chubb being a Texan is very interesting. We'll look around. Tyrod Taylor can't find a starting job. Jordan Love is a Jet. That's fun. Zach Wilson also a Jet. Both the understudies of Aaron Rodgers. Trey Lance unsigned. Sam Darnold's the Buccaneers guy. That will be one to watch for sure at just 28. 3-year deal pretty inexpensive for them. Kirk Cousins still hanging around. Ryan Tannehill might be in the later years of his career. Hendon Hooker, I'd snatch him up in a second. He's actually pretty good in Madden. Let me know how you guys are liking this video or this style of video, because if this does well and you guys enjoy, I'll definitely do more stuff like this, because this is kind of fun. Lamar Jackson's a solid 99 at this point. Joe Burrow joins Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, although there's some morale pushing him up there. Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson still very, very, very good. Deshaun Watson only gets better. Dak Prescott got good, and he's probably going to start regressing somewhat soon. CJ Stroud's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Baker Mayfield at an 87, what we all really wanted to see as he came out of the draft. Brock Purdy is doing pretty good, as he always does in simulation. Jameis Winston sticking around that 80 overall range. He might start regressing after this season as well. I don't know what his depth trade is. If I had to guess, it would be star after last season. Nope, still at normal. But Mac Jones is a superstar at just 26 years old. He'll be one of the better quarterbacks here in a few seasons. Justin Fields, still the Bears quarterback. They really can't let go. Matt Stafford continues with the Rams. There's a new quarterback in town, Marcel Harris, a rookie at a very high overall. Sam Howell will be the starter for that Seattle team. Marcus Mariota will finish out his 3-year deal. And Tyrod Taylor is a Colt. He'll back up Anthony Richardson. Same sort of, speed and stuff. Anthony Richardson, obviously a better athlete. Jordan Love looks like he'll lead that Jets team. Luke Bradley might start over Sam Howell. I don't know how that would really work or how that will really work. Trey Lance is a Pittsburgh Steeler, possibly taking over for Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett. Yeah, Kenny Pickett. I don't know why I was going to call him Kenny Pickens, but Trey Lance is the sheriff in town in Pittsburgh. And then obviously I highlighted Sam Darnold, and there's just a few guys down here that aren't probably going to start, but make an interesting backup, like Kirk Cousins and Tyrod Taylor both backing up Anthony Richardson. Seems a little bizarre. One's a mentor. Obviously, Kirk Cousins is a mentor, so maybe you don't need Tyrod Taylor. I don't know what the point of Tyrod Taylor is. We'll see how this year pans out for all the quarterbacks. Mahomes is coming out of a cannon for the first half of the season, almost 100 more yards than the next best guy, Luke Bradley, starting over Sam Howell. Unfortunate for Sam Howell. Brad Hardy starting over Matthew Stafford, as we see some of these guys getting phased out. Bryce Young starting over the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. But Marcus Mariota is still kicking around and still doing a very good job. 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 1,600 yards at the midseason mark. Bryce Hopkins coming into the league, getting introduced in as a very, very good player. Tua Tagovailoa, Josh Allen, but Baker Mayfield, slow start for him, touchdown wise, interceptions, nice to see it kind of staying low, hasn't really fallen off the rails for him in Washington. Mac Jones continues to be just a steady Eddie, moving up the bar. His overall will just keep climbing. Jared Goff, CJ Stroud kind of go down the board. Dang it, Josh Atkinson, a rookie, starting over Sam Darnold. I was looking forward to seeing Sam Darnold start somewhere. Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback for the Titans again. That's fun. I don't know how much there is to be said about that, but Deshaun Watson's here, 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Just kind of go down the board. Jameis Winston probably doing a pretty good job with the Raiders record once again, and Russell Wilson continues to just be pretty good. So Trey Lance is even a player now too as well, so that's good for him. Jordan Love kind of slow to start it off with Zach Wilson behind him. Kenny Pickett and Trey Lance really sharing playtime. I don't know what's going on here. Viewing the standings, the Ravens are 6-1, 5-1 Eagles. Seems like the 1 and 2 seed, or I guess both the 1 seeds on the NFC and AFC side. Dolphins are 5-2. Steelers with Trey Lance and Kenny Pickett 5-2. Chargers, Raiders with Jameis Winston 5-2 again, climbing towards the top of that AFC. And Buccaneers have that rookie, I think it was Atkinson. And then Titans with the Ryan Tannehill led offense. That's fun. Falcons, Colts. There's just some better names up here. I'm curious who's actually getting the short end of the stick. The Chiefs are 2-5. The Rams, who are sitting Stafford for the first time, are 2-5. Cowboys starting off rough. Lions, Seahawks, Jags, and Jets are 0-7. Back to their old days. That's really rough and unfortunate for the Jets. And passing to end the season, Patrick Mahomes leads the league with Luke Bradley not too far behind him. Marcus Mariota, another very great season. I'm curious what his dev trait's at right now. It's a star. Perhaps it'll upgrade to superstar after this. Throw power still isn't the best, but look at that speed, 88, 90 excel. I'm sure he was very good on the ground as well. So good for Marcus Mariota, man. It would really be fun to see him kind of play. He did get a chance with the Falcons last year. Just didn't really pan out for him. Just not the player that I guess he really used to be, especially on the ground. So that's fine. I mean, I'm happy to see he had the career he had. I wish he was a little bit better with the Titans, of course, but kind of go down the line. Baker Mayfield with Washington just continues to be working out for Washington. Looks like they really got their guy. And you can go down the board. Bryce Young, Atkinson to Tannehill, one of the guys that was upgraded. Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston just continue to be consistent. Like I mentioned, steady Eddie's just kind of down here. 3,000, 3,100 yards, 19 touchdowns, 23, 4 or 5 interceptions. Not bad at all. And Trey Lance, his first year starting for the Steelers, just over 3,000 yards, sharing a little bit of the time with Kenny Pickett, maybe a game or two started for Kenny Pickett, but the rest went to Trey Lance, where he was able to get 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions. Better than Mitchell Trubisky. Zach Wilson shared time with Jordan Love, who was somewhere. Here he is. Not a great season for him. 21 interceptions. Gee Lord. Marcus Mariota actually leads Justin Jefferson to the leading receiver in the whole entire league in terms of passing or receiving yards. I'm all over the place right now. You kind of look down and kind of look at a few guys. There's not really a whole lot that stand out though. 2025 season recap. J.K. Dobbins and Lamar Jackson. Wow, your Super Bowl MVP is J.K. Dobbins and your MVP is Lamar Jackson. Both of them, well, obviously J.K. Dobbins in the Super Bowl, but your MVP and Super Bowl winner, Lamar Jackson, who also wins Offensive Player of the Year, doubled down. Oh my Lord. And then you could obviously look at Micah Parsons, Kyle Shanahan's the Coach of the Year. Really interesting year in terms of awards and Super Bowls and whatever. Doesn't even look like Marcus Mariota, after an impressive season, number 2 with the Vikings. He doesn't even make the or the playoffs in general, and doesn't really look like anyone revamped other than Baker Mayfield. Actually went to Washington, and I forgot he was on the Washington Commanders. He's made the Super Bowl. That's impressive, beating the number 7 seed Cowboys. Cowboys were able to flip their season around after starting like 2-5. So impressive for them. The Falcons, who do they have? Do they have someone? I could have sworn they do. Nope, it's Desmond Ridder. I thought they had someone. And Trey Lance led the Steelers to the conference championship. 2 interceptions, 184 yards, just 18 of 33. Not the best way to start your conference championship career. Maybe taking that Aaron Rodgers route where you can make it there, but can you get out of there? And I don't think that ever happens. There's a few times that, Aaron Rodgers made the Super Bowl and he's done a pretty good job, but it just recently known for not getting past the conference championship, but making it every year. We'll look around the league for interesting quarterback situations, but at this point, I don't think a whole lot will switch up. Jameis Winston continues to be the Raiders guy. Matt Stafford sitting, just kind of the stuff that we've already seen. Titans starter Sam Howell will come in now. That's interesting. I like that fit as well. Marcus Mariota continue as the Vikings guy. Russell Wilson remains in the league at an 88 overall, still at 37. He's been a great job. He's done a great job holding in there, and I think a lot of it is his contract. There's a lot of money tied to him. He just wants to continue playing that out, but once that's done, I don't know if he returns to the NFL, let alone the Broncos. Baker's done a great job since the overall boost. Still at normal depth, but 85 overall. You look at his numbers and they're still pretty good. I hate that they still have the headband on. At least they don't have that awful beard that they had on him. I don't know if you guys remember that. We can only hope Will Verdon starts at quarterback instead of the 21 interception throwing Jordan Love for the Jets. So there's just a few names we'll have to follow, and I'm not even going to worry about mid-season. We'll just go to the end of the season and see how the guys that we upgraded kind of did. Like at this point, we have 4 or 5 guys we're keeping tabs of, and we're not exactly watching everybody in the league anymore. So at this point, we'll kind of slow down, just go, year by year instead of, mid-season, like half a season, stop, check everything. We'll kind of just end the season, look at how they did, see where their team's ending up and stuff like that. Sean Watson, Russell Wilson starting, or I guess finishing with like similar seasons, actually. Very, very close seasons. Maybe Russell Wilson was a little bit better. I wouldn't say a lot, but a little bit better. And then you're gonna look at Baker Mayfield and just guys towards the bottom. Kenny Pickett starts instead of Trey Lance. They gotta pick him. They gotta pick right. And I would have picked Trey Lance after he led my team to the conference championship, but that's just me, I guess. Season recap. Dak Prescott is your MVP. CeeDee Lamb, Offensive Player of the Year. Max Crosby, Defensive Player of the Year. Super Bowl MVP, Dak Prescott with the Cowboys beating the Indianapolis Colts. We don't really have a whole lot making the playoffs other than Jameis Winston on the AFC side. Who's starting for the Colts nowadays. It's Anthony Richardson still. Probably should have seen that coming. And Desmond Ridder. We got some guys here. Giants, Seattle's kind of up in the air with a rookie. It's Marcus Mariota led Vikings, though. Never mind. It's Lampman. Yeah, okay. So Marcus Mariota sits on the bench while Lampman takes over the NFL, I guess. Second, or the number 2 seed Vikings led by the rookie instead of Marcus Mariota. Kind of bone crushing for me. Oh my Lanza. Kyler Murray is now a New England Patriot playing over the 84 overall superstar Mac Jones. And they also have Walt Whitfield. What is going on with the Patriots? They need to pick their poison. And the Raiders have Matthew Stafford now. No more Jameis. He might have left via retirement or just left the team. I would. Nope, Jameis just left, joined the Vikings, and will sit to Jim Lampman. Russell Wilson's still hanging in there, I guess. Deshaun Watson's hitting regression harder than he is, despite being like 7 years younger. Huge change up. Dak Prescott's a Cardinal. They let go of Kyler, and they get Dak? Are they in win now mode? Deuce Vaughn? I would say no. They are not. Does not look like a complete roster. I don't know what they're doing. Might be a little out of their league here, but maybe, just maybe, they think that they can get it done. Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota reunited. They were the Raiders quarterback for a year there, I think 2020 or 2021. Marcus Mariota, 77 overall at this point, and Derek Carr, 81, both leading the Cowboys. Derek Carr might fare well in that system. Well, we have our names to watch, so let's see how they end the season. We'll go to the playoffs. Actually, might as well just go to the offseason, right? That's what we're basically doing anyways. Let's have some fun with it. Let me know who is your favorite, quarterback returning to their prime to watch. For me, it was probably Marcus Mariota. It was kind of cool to see him do really well, and not only in like a run aspect. He was a really good passer. Obviously, this isn't a simulation in a game. I know that. I don't think this is real or anything, but I'm just saying it was kind of cool to see Marcus Mariota's name come up at the top of the league a couple times. For me, it was just kind of fun. People also say I talk fast. Well, I've had 2 of these bad suckers, so that's probably why. Trevor Lawrence wins the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP with the Jacksonville Jaguars for their first Super Bowl win in franchise history. I think that's what the one-time Super Bowl champion means. Isaiah Pacheco was your offensive player of the year. Doug Peterson makes the Super Bowl and becomes coach of the year. Patrick Mahomes is your league MVP. Patrick Mahomes leads the league in passing yards, 46 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. You can obviously see why. And Dak Prescott, 4,300 yards, 32. Wow. Even in the Cardinals playbook, he goes crazy. I don't know what's up with Dak Prescott. All of that sucking off that EA does, I guess, really just works with Dak Prescott, not really the rest of the Cowboys, but whatever. Kenny Pickett, solid year, better than Trey Lance in my opinion. He threw for like 3,000 yards, maybe different offensive system, don't know, but Kenny Pickett definitely doing a great job over there. Baker Mayfield continues to be him. Oh my lord. Baker Mayfield, we've seen him really shine, but not like this. Baker Mayfield, very impressive year for him. Russell Wilson will just continue to impress at such an age, and 16, 17 years in the league, it doesn't matter. This guy will still put up efficient numbers for you. Kyler Murray takes a big step down with the Patriots instead of the Cardinals. 20 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, just breaking the 3,000 yard mark. Not a whole lot to chit chat about with the rest of the league here. We are losing a lot of our guys though. This will most likely be the last year, and we'll just go through and highlight a couple of players to watch. Mac Jones is back up and leading the Patriots team, I guess, instead of Kyler Murray, who will actually start. I don't know. It's a coin flip. Madden sucks in that regard. Jared Goofball is a Raider. That's interesting. Jameis returns to the Saints in about the same point of his career, where he's down to like a low 70 overall. I guess this is mid, right? But just imagine this. All right, Jameis Winston comes in later in his career, maybe to play backup. But if anything happens to the starter, you've got a very steady backup. Oh, this is fun. Baker Mayfield and Russell Wilson duking it out for a starting job. Yes, please. Zach Wilson might just get an opportunity in the league just 29 years into his career. After we've boosted him up to a 75 overall, that was his best, and he's up to a 76. He's done a great job progressing, and I guarantee you that this guy's actually going to be the starter, so screw Zach Wilson. Yet to see a player. Jordan Love. Look at him go. Finally, at some point in his career, he's up to 30 years old now, and he is a good player. I don't know what's wrong with his face scan. He looks dumb. Zach Wilson did start for the Commanders and didn't do a bad job either. A lot of interceptions, but not a bad job. Baker Mayfield, oh my lord, what happened with him? Baker, and looking for the other I guess the Broncos. What happened to the Broncos, man? What was up with them? I actually don't need to go to rushing. Can we get back to passing, please? Can I press L2? Thank you. All right, let's go look at the Broncos. Baker Mayfield, there's just no more. Oh, you know what? Baker Mayfield started like a half a season. Russell Wilson started the other half, and then Russell Wilson retired, no longer here. And it's actually Baker Mayfield that put up pretty bad numbers with the Broncos playbooks. But this simulation will end with the Philadelphia Eagles going out on top 28-21 victory over Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Jalen Hurts wins your Super Bowl MVP. Lamar Jackson is your NFL MVP. Doug Peterson, Coach of the Year. I think back-to-back seasons, or at least got it twice during the simulation. Brandon Ayuk is your OPOY Offensive Player of the Year. TJ Watt is your Defensive Player of the Year. Luke Posey and Lindsey Willis are your Rookies of the Year. So that was kind of a fun experiment. Tell me what you guys thought about it down in the comments below. But if you're also, find yourself sticking around watching till now, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. Go down and subscribe. Go watch any of the past content on the channel. I guarantee you will like it. That'll be all for me. Thank you for watching, dudes.